Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. I just hit record. What is up, party people? It's Dan, your basement guitar superstar. This is another episode of Creator Spotlight. And today I have the privilege of bringing you an acoustic duo from the UK that I absolutely love, that I just discovered from a vintage guitar group that Mike, who is the guitarist. Hi, Mike. Say wave to everybody. He and I are in on Facebook for the brand Vintage. And he sent me a link to their music, and I love it. So I just had to have them on. So guys, thank you so much for joining me. Go ahead and introduce yourselves.
After you, Holly.
Okay. Hi, I'm Hollyanne, and I'm the female singer of the group. And I'm from Bradford, Yorkshire.
Nice.
Michael, are you there? Or is it frozen?
Mike, there you are. Can you hear us?
It's not the best connection here, unfortunately. Is it?
No.
I think I know what the problem is. Keep going, and I shall.
Okay, first of all, let's talk about kind of how you guys got started, what your musical background is and stuff.
Okay, do you want me to go first or Mike?
Sure, either way. I'd say ladies first, but that's just my thing.
So
yes.
I've been a singer since a young age. I began in rock bands in school, and then I progressed through pop and folk. I studied at a musical university called Leeds Conservatoire for a couple of years. My background is mostly musical theatre and performance based. Okay. And in 2018, I believe, Michael confirmed that if he's not frozen, Mike and I met online, and I think he's frozen.
Yeah.
And he came to my house one time, and we had a jam, and we never looked back really. He said, "Do you want to come up to a gig with me in, oh gosh, where was it? It was like Brick House or something." And I got into this stranger's car.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
I just got into his car. I thought, Reuben, my partner, I said, "I'll tell you where I'm going, what the address is, and hope I'm okay." And now here we are.
Nice.
Yes.
So Mike, when did you start playing guitar then?
I was about 18 or 19.
Okay.
I'm not a drinker, so when everybody I knew was going down the pub, I stayed at home and learnt guitar instead.
That's the way to do it.
Which was well, I mean, the ironic thing now, of course, is I spend more time in pub than anyone else up until this last year, of course.
Right.
No.
Even when we're gigging, we don't drink.
It's not something.
I started gigging with Mike. Sorry.
No, it's right. That's because I'm driving all the time anyway, so there's no point for me drinking. And I mean, it's more professional as well to not drink.
Right. So how are the roads gotten better out there? I went to the UK when I was 15. My dad brought me over, and I remember us riding the train everywhere just because the roads were so bad, at least in Norfolk where we were at.
You said that was in the 80s, because we did speak about this briefly, didn't we?
Yeah, I think the thing is with the roads in England is you get used to them being bad, and you start thinking they're not too bad. But
I tell you, road that you took me on for one of our first gigs was on a really bad road, wasn't it? Really bad.
Yeah.
Like potholes, like this deep, and like a sheet drop on the other side.
Oh geez! And then you all drive on the wrong side of the road too.
Well, yeah.
Yes. Luckily, we all do it, so it makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. So, hey, take me back to that first gig. Where was that at?
I say a place called Brig House. I can't remember the name of the pub.
No.
But we'd basically done a couple of sort of practices together, hadn't we?
Hmm.
And I sort of said, "Well, come along, and I'll get you up for a couple of songs, and you know, if you were feeling up to it." And luckily, you were. And you did
But we
about
didn't
half a dozen or so with me,
anything
didn't
for
you?
that though. We didn't practice anything.
No, not really. No,
Go on.
the stuff before that was kind of just sort of finding our way with what we both knew, and then we got to the gig and we just did completely different stuff.
Yeah.
But it was good fun.
Oh, definitely.
I've always, because the way I do gigs, whether it's on my own or I've got a band as well called Easygoing, which is a covers band, but we often do requests, or I do requests when I'm on my own. So I quite often just take requests most of the night. So I don't really do a set list. It's a bit different when we started gigging properly, but that first night we sort of had a few requests, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
We got lyrics up on a phone and away we went. But nice. I love that sort of edge of the seat stuff.
Yeah, we like that when we gig. We have a certain element of preparation, but then the other half is improvisation. But that works for us.
Yeah,
nice. And
definitely.
I've watched some live gig footage of you guys on Facebook, and I think you work very, very well together. It's amazing, like how your voices mesh and just the chemistry you guys have on stage. When you guys go to write your own original music, how does that work? Is it Holly coming up with the lyrics and Mike, you coming up with the music, or is it kind of a combination of both? Or
we sort of both come up with lyrics, don't we?
Oh yes, certainly. Michael usually come up with the melody first. Obviously, he's the guitar player in the band. I don't play an instrument really, and he picks a melody, and then I can hear lyrics from that, and then we both bounce off each other to write the lyrics and the story.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Because most of the songs we've written physically together in the same space. Either I've been at yours or wherever, and we've written them. But there has been one or two. There's a couple, that you've had the lyrics, haven't you? And then I've added music afterwards, and vice versa, where I've sort of had something and you've come in and added some bits. So it's pretty 50-50. I mean, I wouldn't say there's obviously some songs that are more Holly than me, and some songs that are more me than Holly. But generally, it's 50-50, and there's always something that one of us comes up with that the other one wouldn't come up with.
Yes, 100%. And if we're stuck, we can always bounce off each other. It's brilliant. I've never worked with anyone like Mike before. We really connected straight away. Like that first meeting was really connected, and I knew we could write together.
Well, that first meeting was allegedly as well, wasn't it? It was going to be for a project you wanted to do with like a trio, or a quartet really, use vocals and then drums, bass and guitar. But obviously at the time it was just the two of us, and we sort of went, well, this is working. Do we really need to give anybody else any money? So we've got to the point now, though, haven't we, where we'd like to do some kind of band stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously England at the moment, everywhere's shut, so it's kind of irrelevant. But once we get to the point where we can go back out gigging again, we want to be able to say, yes, we can go as a duo, or we can go as a four-piece. And then we don't turn gigs down. It's always that thing of what can we do to get the gig. And without sounding ridiculous, it's going to be a very competitive market when we get back out there, because there's a lot of people who've picked up an instrument during lockdown, and there's a lot of pubs that won't open up again. So you've suddenly got this huge influx of possible musicians and this drop in venues, and it's going to be difficult.
Yeah. And I know it, not to get political with you guys or anything, but I do want to acknowledge something. Your brothers and sisters here in the U.S., myself included, absolutely know that you guys are getting screwed by that deal by the government where they're making you retrain. So please understand that we have your backs 100% and that we feel horrible for you guys. No,
that's very kind. It's certainly difficult. Well, Holly knows that I can get very political. I'm not going to, but I can do. But,
no, that's fine. I just wanted to acknowledge it.
Mike.
No, it's appreciated.
Obviously, he's older than me, but he has been gigging for a lot longer than me. No. He's been gigging for a lot longer than me, and this is Mike's. Well, it's both of our profession now.
Yeah.
But Mike has based his whole living and career off music, and he can't really do anything right now. We both can't meet each other. So that's a difficulty. We're both working on separate projects at the moment, kind of.
Yeah.
Well, we can't meet each other right now.
No, I mean, luckily we both have recording software, don't we? So
yeah,
we have been able to do, when we are sort of trying to get an album together, which we were supposed to do last year, but with everything happening as it did with COVID, that didn't happen. So luckily, it's something we can work on now. So we have been working on some tracks, and they will be out this year. I can't give any more accurate time than this year, unfortunately, because there's factors involved. But we hope to have possibly even 2 albums out this year.
Yeah, we've got 2 types, haven't we, Mike?
Because we've kind of got a folky, country almost set of songs, and then stuff that's a little bit harder. It's not hard rock or anything.
Yeah, we've got like a rockabilly and like more of a downy, folky type song.
Well, on the 4 songs that I've listened to the most of your guys that I absolutely love, obviously Open Road and I'm in Love are fantastic.
Thank you.
Is Polaroid one of your guys' songs too?
Sorry, what was that one?
Polaroid?
No, that isn't one of ours. Who was that by, Holly?
That's by Lennon, Stella, and Liam Payne.
Yeah.
Okay. I love that one. I saw your live performance of it.
Oh, thank you very much.
Is Something Stupid yours?
That's
Something Stupid.
Oh no, that's going back. That's going back to one of your brethren. It's Frank Sinatra.
Oh, it is. Okay, I've never heard that Sinatra version.
That's fair enough. No, the thing is we've tried to do a good mix when we do gigs, because we understand if we went to a gig and did all our own stuff, a lot of the stuff in England, the people aren't. They would get lost. They wouldn't follow you. So you've got to do a couple of originals, then a couple of covers, and mix it up a bit until you get to a certain point. Sure. There's a couple of venues we've done which we can get away with more originals than covers. One of our favourites is the Railway in Murfield, little village. It's kind of between us, isn't it, in terms of distance? But we love playing there, don't we?
Yeah, we love it. It's like family. The ladies who own it are just like family, aren't they?
Yeah.
They go in, give us a hug, and we get a free drink. That's the only place that we have a small drink, isn't it?
Yes, because we get
it for nothing as well. But you're making me a bit sad here, actually, talking about this, because obviously it's been nearly a year since we've been to these places and gigged, and I was getting a bit emotional before listening.
Yeah, sorry, I don't mean to pour salt on it.
No.
Oh, not you, sorry, just the situation, because obviously this is the first time I've really seen Mike in about, well, we video call each other, but
it's the problem is we live about an hour away from each other, and with the rules in England, we're not allowed to travel. It's very complicated rules in England, but basically the big one is we're not allowed to travel, so it has made it very difficult. We managed to do a little bit, didn't we, between lockdowns? I managed to get to you, and we did a couple of, because as you see from the vintage page, there's lots of other pages obviously where live music is kind of happening as live streaming is happening. So we've done a couple of them, haven't we, for various lockdown festival things, essentially. And that's been good fun, but it's not the same. It's nice to have an audience there, even if they're ignoring you. It's quite nice to have them.
Right. So what's let me see. What's kind of your 5 to 10 year plan, do you think?
Well, I'll let you go first, Holly.
Oh, me? I pointed at you. Oh gosh, 5-10 years. Okay, so we're applying for festivals at the moment, folk ones mainly. So waiting to hear back from them. We really just want to get on the festival circuit, have both our albums out, and just kind of gather a following online, really. I mean, we've both been thrown, everyone has, we've all been thrown into this social media world, and we're just all catching up, and so there's all that side of it. 10 years. I hope to be touring the world with mine. That's what I hope to be doing.
I mean, first thing, I just want to get out of COVID.
Right.
But no, within five to 10 years, we hopefully will get to have a few albums out by then, because we haven't stopped writing even when we're not together. We've still got parts of songs, haven't we, which will get finished more off when we get together properly. I mean, considering if you exclude this last year because it's not happened, up until then, we've got what 30 odd songs, give or take.
Oh yeah.
Written.
Yeah.
Which, considering we do other stuff alongside this, as in, because you've got your own solo stuff, haven't you? You've got a couple of singles out. I've got my own solo stuff. So we're still writing separately as well, because your stuff is a bit more poppy. Well, I don't know.
It's totally different, isn't it?
Completely different to when we do stuff together. So it's one of those things that we will keep going with different things. I'm a huge fan. My favourite band of all time is the Kinks. I love the Kinks, and they had so many different genres they went through in their lifetime. I'm like that in the sense that I love the thought of just right now there's going to be kind of a bluesy one, then there's a folky one, then there's something a bit more funky, etc., and just because we do that as well, don't we? We kind of pick a theme or a genre sometimes when we write a song.
I was just about to say that.
Well, because I noticed on Open Road and I'm in Love specifically, what attracted me to those songs is they were kind of this fun, fast, like pop-driven, just kind of good indie folksy pop stuff, and I loved that. Yeah. That's right up my alley.
Yeah, we enjoyed. I mean, Open Road was an early one, wasn't it, for us?
Yes.
That came from. I think I was just doing I said I want to do something that isn't sort of just strumming, if that essentially. So that beginning bit where it goes bum 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 bum. I was just playing on a guitar. It's just D and C, that first bit, and we sort of came up with that, didn't we? From there, and we recorded that one. Friend of mine did the drums for us, didn't he?
Yes, yeah.
Dawid, and he produced it, to be fair. But I did all the instruments and obviously the male vocals. Holly did the Holly vocals. And then when we did the second one, that was a studio that you'd worked in, wasn't it? Or you'd heard of. What was it called?
Sound Studios.
Sound Studio. Yeah, it's just down the road from you. So but that one was when we were writing it, it just gave us that sort of rockabilly, poppy sound. We're going back to the vintage page. All of the instruments, the guitars and the basses that were used on those recordings are vintage or Fret King, which are part of the vintage stable.
I was going to ask you, Mike, how you got hooked up with vintage initially.
Well, a friend of mine owns a shop, which is actually this building, Jeff, and it wasn't here at the time when I met him. He was in another shop, but he's moved recently. And I actually live above here now. But all the guitars you can see, I've hung up are mine, just for the sake of it. But so he was dealing with vintage, and I got to know him. And I bought a couple of the Fret Kings and a vintage, and I just thought for the money, they were just so good. And I got a bit addicted. I'm up to about 15 vintage guitars now and 6 Fret Kings, and I've got an Italia, which they used to do with as well. But it's I've gone mad. But I say they're so good for what they cost. I love the things.
Yes. But right behind you, I don't know what way it is to everyone else, but on the right, that's the guitar you play all the time, isn't it?
Yeah, this one.
His left, our right. Yep.
Is that the Gemini?
Yeah, that's the one we use a lot. At the moment, it's actually tuned as a baritone, so it's very low pitched. But it's the world's smallest baritone, I think. But we use that one a lot for gigging. It's one of my favourites. It's got a V-shaped neck, which is just my preference for neck shapes. But yeah, it's
you got that prototype of the V6. It sounds like that's pretty rad.
Yes, where is it?
Sorry, Holly, I know this is more of a mic question, but
sorry. Yeah, this one is the pre-production run of the Silverburst. Jeff tried to get a couple of these in, and he was told they'd sold out. And then last week they contacted him and said that they'd found a couple, and one of the V100s, the Les Paul shape and the Strat shape, and they both came in, and basically I couldn't say no. So
I saw you.
I mean, I am lucky that it turned up when it did. It's a great guitar. I'm just looking forward now to getting back out and actually playing them in anger.
Right. Right, exactly. So what's a day in the life look like for you guys when you aren't rehearsing or playing music?
After you, Holly.
Together, you mean?
No, just in general. I mean, I'm sure you guys have hobbies outside of music, right?
No, not at the moment.
Oh, really?
Honestly, not. I guess I read a lot. What else? Oh gosh, I do a lot of video editing as well. Photography. I'm honestly, like, this is gonna sound like I'm making it up. All I make is music at the moment. That's our life right now. I don't have any hobbies.
No.
Well, I'm asking because to me, and again, I'm 37, so it would have been 22 years ago. But when I went over to England, there's just something about it for people that aren't from there that's just magical. And if I lived there right now, which if I had a preference, my wife and kids and I would be living there right now. But it's the countryside is so beautiful, and you got all your old castles from medieval times and stuff. Like, I would be out exploring 24/7, I think.
Oh yeah.
I go on a lot of walks. I go on a lot of walks. I think you do, don't you, with your partner, Mike?
Yeah. Again, this last year, no, but generally speaking, yeah. I mean, my other half's into history. I am as well, but we go and look around, like you say, the old like castles and houses that we've got here. And yeah, we do enjoy that. But my plan, long term, is to move out of England.
Oh, really?
I want to. Yeah, I don't particularly like the cold.
I think what me and Mike would like is a proper musician's life. We'd like to tour and be in different places all the time. That's what we like, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, have you guys thought about coming to the US to tour? Because I think you guys would do really well here.
It would be something. It's on the list. Yeah. I think, unfortunately, like a lot of the answers, it goes back to this last 12 months has been such sort of a stumbling block for a lot of people that everything we kind of had to do in the last 12 months is now going to be in the next 12 months. So we're a little bit behind on things, but yeah, definitely.
We talked about, where have you been actually? Japan?
Yeah, I did. No, not Japan. I did Hong Kong.
Hong Kong, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, and I've done Gran Canaria and south of France. So I have done a little bit abroad.
Yeah. So Mike's already got that experience, you see. I've only ever done the UK, really. So
yeah,
you got that, didn't you? I really want to, we really want to tour and go to different countries and experience different venues and people and crowds. Yeah, I'd love that.
Yeah.
If you guys are ever in the US and you find yourself in Iowa, which is kind of in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by cornfields, y'all are more than welcome to stay with me. If you
It's very kind. Very kind. It's but yeah, definitely something we look at. I mean, you don't. I'm knocking on the door of 40, and I don't want to say no to things.
No, I don't blame you.
You know, I don't want to say no.
I'm only joking, Mike. I'm only joking. No, I don't blame you though. I think especially after all of this has happened.
Oh God, yeah.
You just want nothing. You don't want a day to pass you by, which I think why me and Mike keep ourselves busy all the time as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like I say, I live above the shop that Jeff runs, and I do the guitar repairs and setups here. So my day when I'm not recording and playing and things is working with guitars anyway. I also teach guitar and piano and bass and a few other instruments. So yeah, it's pretty much my hobby and my job and everything. 95% of it anyway is around music.
Yeah.
Awesome. And for those of you watching, I will post links to where you can find all of the stuff by the lights, info on Mike's teaching and Holly's music, both their solo projects. I'll post all that in the description.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Go ahead and send me the links, email those to me.
I will send them as soon as we finish.
So what's your guys, what's in your record player on your Spotify right now?
Ooh, good question. You go first, Holly.
A lot of independent artists, actually, because I do a lot of networking to do with my solo things anyway. I'm trying to think. I actually did a Q&A with myself yesterday on YouTube, and this is one of my own questions. Actually, really like, I don't know if you know who Harry Styles is right now.
Yeah.
So like Harry Styles, I've also had country music UK on the radio a lot recently. So I've been listening to Miranda Lambert. I know it's not Spotify, but I don't really listen to things on Spotify. I just post. You could probably delete that bit. Yeah, a lot of country artists at the moment. I don't know why. I've always loved country, so I'm just discovering all these new artists from America that I've never heard of before, who are huge there, but not so much here.
See, I'm kind of the opposite. Like here, if you look at the Billboard Top 200, it's primarily all hip hop music.
Right.
So I think the last 6 bands that I've gotten hardcore into have been like you guys, Carrie Martin.
We did get.
Group. I think they're either from Liverpool or like Shepherd's Bush area called False Heads.
Right.
Kind of a hard rock band.
Yeah, the name does ring a bell on that one.
They've been compared to like Nirvana and Silverchair and stuff. But
yes.
Silverchair.
And then there's a band from Wales I love called Forever Vendetta. But like I'm seeking out UK music because the stuff here, I feel like other than the country's really good, but all the other stuff coming out of here, I feel like it's kind of garbage, honestly.
Yeah. I'm just trying to get into a lot of new artists at the moment. Like I say, I've been doing a lot of networking, and there are a lot of really cool UK, and in fact West Yorkshire based artists coming out right now. But I wish I could think of the names, but I can't.
Yeah, I've got recently I've been listening to, there's a local artist called Harrison. He's very good. You've met Harrison, haven't you? You know of Harrison. Didn't we do a gig? Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
I lose track
we did
of
a charity gig with him, didn't we?
That's right. He's good. Michael Webster, another one that I've met online. He's very good.
Oh, they're amazing.
But
he's
then
a woman as well.
No, there's no. I know you're thinking of. No, this is another one.
Okay.
There's a lot of acoustic and stuff, but then I'm a sucker for the old stuff. I'm a big 60s, 70s fan. So, like I said, the Kinks, top band of all time. Big fan of David Bowie. In fact, that white guitar there is a David Bowie signature model.
Nice.
I got, which is awesome.
Is that a Supro? Who makes those?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, with the
That's crazy that just from sat there, he knows what that is.
Yeah.
But yes, I do listen to a lot of the old stuff as well. But to be honest, I quite often on an evening just put on YouTube and let it go through things. So I hear stuff and I don't even know who it is, but I do appreciate a lot of it. And a lot of it, I try and listen to stuff to try and give me genres and things that I wouldn't necessarily write in as well. So I can go, well, actually, that sounded like something I might do. Believe it or not, I've recently, because my other half's a big Taylor Swift fan, I actually listened to a couple of her albums and I thought she's actually very good. I hadn't given her the time before. She's so much better than I thought she was.
Right. Well, and she writes all her own music too.
Yeah.
That's the thing I respect the heck out of her for.
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
All right. Oh, hey, this is kind of a weird one that has nothing to do with music. Hopefully you guys don't mind. Is curry sauce still a thing over there with fish and chips?
Oh, yeah. Yes, 100%.
Is it?
I get that quite a lot, yeah.
I wouldn't know. I'm a vegan, so I don't eat fish and chips. So I haven't had takeaways for a long time.
No, I remember that's one of my favorite parts of that trip was we were in Sheringham. I was telling Holly a little bit about this, but there's a stand in town there that sold fish and chips. I think they served haddock.
Yeah.
And then the curry sauce was just amazing. And that's like, oh, we don't have any of that here. So
No.
What's the weirdest thing that's happened to you guys at a gig?
I do have an answer. This is another question I asked myself yesterday. We've not really had bad experiences, but there are funny ones, aren't there? Like people trying to steal the mic, drunk, and Oasis, and not giving you your microphone back.
Do you remember we did when we were at the railway and we plugged everything in, and before we started, the microphone or something was picking up radio.
Yeah.
No idea where it was coming from. Didn't matter what we did. We plugged and unplugged things, and the radio kept coming through. In the end, I just unplugged everything, swapped all the wires around, went back in, and it was fine. Never found out what that problem was.
It just went, and it never came back.
Yeah.
We've had people dancing on drugs at our gig, which is really odd.
Well, that was a weird one.
That we gig, and he was sort of jigging. We've got video of that on YouTube, actually.
I think we have, yeah. And that was weird because it wasn't the sort of venue you'd expect something like that. It's a nice little, almost. Sorry?
He was loving it. He was loving the music, wasn't he? He wasn't taking the piss off.
Was that? I think that was open road, wasn't it?
Perhaps, yeah.
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
And that's just people being a bit weird, and like the vibes are weird, isn't it? Like they're not listening to you, all performers get it. It's not unique to you.
Well, no, I did a gig once on my own years ago, and there was nobody in the pub hardly. There was basically me, the person behind the bar, and maybe three other people. Another person came in, and I was just playing, and all of a sudden, the bloke that walked in he went to the bar, absolutely fine. Then he just turned around and hit the three other people in the pub and left. No idea why. They just would look so shocked. And then about a minute later, they ran outside after him. So I lost everybody. They all went after him. I was just playing to the landlord. Yeah, never saw any of them again. They didn't come back the rest of the night.
Jeez. So what's the furthest in the UK you guys have traveled for a lights gig then?
Okay.
We went to... God, where have we been? Where was that one we went to, which was one of the potting shed gigs? That was a big... That was out towards...
It wasn't Selby though, was it?
No, that was it?
It was really far, but I don't remember where it was. I'm sorry. It was a couple of hours drive. Yeah,
it was out past Hull, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was past Hull.
I can't remember. I mean, it's not that far from me, but I had to come and get you and drive, so it took me 3 hours.
I was in the beginning. Mike used to pick me up because he's a gentleman, and he's going to make a joke, but it's true. He's a gentleman, and he used to pick me up and take me home and make sure I was safe.
Yes. Now you can fend for yourself.
But even though I drive myself, but he just wanted to be
well, I just felt bad early on. So I kept getting these gigs that weren't... Yeah, but all these gigs I kept getting weren't near you. So I felt bad and felt...
Well, later on, Mike gets all of our gigs for us. He's just good at that. I'm not, he is. So a lot of... Over time, you've been getting them near me and then near you, and we've been mixing it up, haven't we? So we haven't been travelling too far.
Yeah, the good thing about England
is
is
Scotland or over to Wales or any of that yet.
No, I've done that, but not as the duo. There was a few places we were looking at when everything kicked off again with COVID, but I'm hopeful of getting some of these places. But at the moment, obviously, we're
I think, even though it's all quite negative surrounding COVID and stuff, Mike and I are so, although might be blowing our own trumpets here, but we are good and we are professional, and I do believe that we can get gigs after this.
Well, I believe that 100% too.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to have a problem with that. It might take a couple of months or something, but I don't.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's going to be a difficult market, but we haven't stopped. I'm still in touch with various venues, and they want us. They just can't do it yet. They wanted us in between the lockdowns when they were allowed to open, but they hadn't got the money to put live music on at that point, and people, because of the restrictions we have, I don't know what they are compared to in America, but there were so few people allowed in any pubs that it wasn't worth them putting any music on, which I totally understand.
Right.
Well, it is a business at the end of the day.
Stand more than 2 meters apart from each other, and it just wasn't, as you know, pubs and venues here are quite small in England, and so being 2 meters apart really isn't possible.
Oh no, there's some venues. If you'd had a 3-piece band and they were all 2 meters apart from each other, the drummer would be in the car park. So.
But we'll get there. That's the positive ending for that.
Right. So there's this is kind of a weird question too. Hopefully you guys don't mind. There's a UK-based guitar maker that is releasing a model with a finished card called Sarson Stone, and I have no idea what that is, but it's a UK thing apparently. Right. So explain that to me.
I don't know that. I'm going to look that up with my. What was the?
It's Chapman Guitars is releasing that, and they said it was a UK thing, and I'm like, I have no idea what Sarson Stone is, but it sounds kind of cool.
No, I know that Rob Chapman, who is the co-founder of Chapman Guitars with Lee Anderson from Guildford, Anderson's. I know that he's quite into his rock and metal-y stuff, so it's probably something related to that, but I could be wrong. I've played a couple of Chapman guitars. They're nice guitars. They're well made. I think they're made in Korea.
Yeah.
But they are based in the UK. But it's like anything. If we made, if anyone that makes guitars here, it's silly money to be able to make a profit. And I'm sure it's the same in America. You know, you're looking at your Gibsons and your Fenders. Obviously, you get them made in Mexico. You're suddenly cheaper by a long way.
Well, honestly, Mike, I would rather own, like that vintage that's behind me on the wall. I just bought that. That feels like a $1,200 Fender to me. Like that's
I agree.
How vintage stuff is. Like I am all in on vintage at this point. I've sold all but 2 of my Fender and Epiphones to go all in on vintage.
It's good. I've only got one Fender left.
Sorry, Mike, come on.
Sorry?
No, I was just going to ask you because this might explain to your viewers as well, although your viewers probably all know all this. Explain to me what vintage guitars really is. Do they make copies of popular guitars?
The guitars they're making are basically based on familiar shapes. You've got your V6s, which are your Strats, your VS6s, which are your SGs, your V100s, which are your Les Pauls. They've got an offset one now. I can't remember the number of that. V65, that's right. I've only played a couple of them. They're nice again, and they do some basses. I've got somewhere over there a jazz bass copy, the VJ74. They're really good. The good thing is because they can't be exact copies. They can try a few different things. I think you'll agree with me on the Fender side. Whenever Fender and Gibson try something different, a lot of purists don't like it, do they?
No, they don't.
But with vintage, because it's not got that same heritage to it. I mean, it's 25 years old now, 26 this year, but hasn't got the heritage, so it doesn't need to adhere to all the rules, so they can play around a bit.
Plus, Trev Wilkinson is just a brilliant designer too.
Genius. Yeah, I'm not saying all the vintages that Jeff's had in have been 100% perfect, but they've all been near as damn it. I think there's only been one he's had to send back and that was a crack in the neck, and that was probably in shipping, nothing to do with the actual guitar. So, yeah, I haven't played a bad one.
Awesome. Well, I thought Sarson Stone was like some ancient British thing.
I'm going to look that up. Like I say, Saracen, as in SARR.
Yeah, I've not heard of that before myself.
Sarson Stone. They're sand blocks found in quantity in the Salisbury Plain. There you go. Salisbury Plain being in England. So yes, it's based on sand. So it's probably got a sandstone type finish with
it's
the colour.
Like a dark blue gray type something.
Right, that could be it. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yes. sort of a blue. Yeah, that would tie in with that.
Yeah. So Holly, this is a question specifically for you because I noticed this. I think it was either on your Instagram or your YouTube. How's your piano playing coming along? I saw you were putting the little tabs on there and stuff.
The real answer to that is I haven't been practicing. It's bad, I know, but I only hurt myself by not practicing. The thing is, like I said before, we're on a big learning curve, and a lot of things I'm doing for my solo work and with stuff with Mike, that is kind of taking centre stage at the moment, so to speak. Editing software and all stuff like that is like learning another language, so I can't do everything at once.
Oh, right.
But I'll get, I keep saying this, I'll get there. But the thing is, my family all have background like playing piano and organ. My great grandma was an organ player, and she played the organ in a church and used to sing and played the keyboard. My granddad plays keyboard and blues and rock and roll, and used to jam around the pubs. I used to go when I was a kid. And my sister can play it really well, the piano. So I can play it by ear, and it's in the blood. It's in the blood. But I need to give it more time.
Sure.
A bit of a long-winded answer, but there you go.
No, that's fine. So last question for you guys, unless you have something else you want to talk about. Who's your Premier League team?
Oh, I'm not a fan of sport.
Oh, you are? Okay.
I like cricket. So that's about as...
I actually, believe it or not, I'm not full of crap. I actually loved watching cricket when I was over there.
Oh, yeah, to me, I love the 5-day matches for me, watching, a lot of people find this tedious, but I can watch a bowler bowl the ball and the batsman leave the ball. And that to me is the purest joy in any sport for some reason. But I used to play cricket. I used to be quite good. Okay. Unfortunately, I got a knee injury back in, about 12, 13 years ago. Yeah, about 12, 13 years ago. My daughter's 14 now. So, yeah, that stopped me playing, unfortunately.
I didn't. That's a new one for me. I never knew that about you, Mike. You look like a cricket player in that jumper as well.
Yes. Well, I actually am a qualified umpire as well, of all things.
Oh, way.
Yeah, I did that years ago. It's not fully qualified. I couldn't do like England, but I could do minor county level.
Right.
Yeah.
I
mean nothing to most Americans.
We don't really like sports that much, do we, Mike? But
no, it's not our favourite.
No,
yes.
My family like football, so it's Liverpool. You know, that's the sport. That's the team we support in this house.
Right.
If we're going to.
Okay.
And they won the Premier League last year, so
Sure.
Oh, was it before now? So
I was going to say I'm a huge Arsenal fan. So, well, hey, at least, man, I'm drawing a blank right now who our derby match is against. It's a team I hate that. Anyway, neither here nor there. If you guys aren't, not a big deal. Mike, I actually do have a question for you. I see a bunch of guitars behind you. Which one's your favorite?
It's a difficult one. My favorite acoustic is probably the one there because we play it a lot together, and I've had that the longest out of the acoustics I currently own. And my favorite electric is probably the David Bowie one because it's just got that connection to somebody who sort of, for me, growing up listening to music was a big influence. And even though Bowie himself wouldn't be necessarily the greatest guitarist of all time, and I'm sure if he was still here, he'd admit that, he could play. It's just a guitar that he used in, I think, 2000 or somewhere, late 90s, 2000, he got hold of one. But it is from the 60s, his originally. But like I say, any of the vintage stuff, I will play all day long because I can't fault a single one of them. Yeah. Like I say, I've got 15 vintage guitars. So,
Mike.
Yes.
Well, that yellow one behind you, is that a guitar or a bass?
Yeah, that's a guitar. Yeah, that's a vintage V.
Really want it
24M.
Can I have it? Can I have it so I can put it up here?
I know you like your yellow ones.
I do. And where Mike works in the shop, they had a glittery one for a while, white with glitter. I can't play guitar. My partner plays guitar. These are his. That's mine, but I can't play it, and they're his. But I love the look of them.
Yeah, that was a Supro as well, the one you liked.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it. Because Goldfrapp, the band, the bass player in that, he has a see-through bass.
Nice.
All right, yes.
Oh my goodness. I thought one day, even though I can't play, I will have a see-through bass.
Some of those are really heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the acrylic bodies or
Acrylic
whatever.
bodies.
Those are insane.
Wow.
I would never. I'd own one just for the looks, I think.
Yeah, the looks.
Yeah. Yeah, you wouldn't want to play 2 45-minute sets with it.
Well, definitely not. Speaking of guitars, I'm sure you saw the ones that Vintage just came out with for the Pro Shop.
Yes, I was looking at them earlier. They look rather nice.
Yeah, the 3 I fancied all sold out. Otherwise, I'd have one.
Yeah, the Pro Shop stuff I love the look of, and it's a shame that they make one of each, and it's very rare, but they do go quickly, and unfortunately, I keep spending my money before I realise I've got something else I could spend that money on.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I like both the purple V100s and then that V6 with the Laguna blue with the red torch shell guard on it.
Yeah, that looked great, and they will be good. They just will be.
Yeah,
it sounds a bit like we're sorry.
So I thought you were finished. I was going to say that yellow guitar actually. Wasn't that in one of our first videos that we recorded with at Jeff's shop?
No,
I had a yellow blazer on. And
yeah, that was a Revelation Telecaster type that he had in. Again, Revelation. I don't know if you've heard of Revelation or not, but they're well worth the look. They're not as good as Vintage, but they're good. They're good enough.
awesome.
They're good enough.
Good enough, yeah. They're cheaper than Vintage.
Sure. So for people that haven't heard of you guys yet, what would you say is your appeal over other acoustic acts?
Ooh, good question. Holly?
Well, I'm waiting for you because I've talked a lot and I keep...
Well, I think the fact that we have covered, even in the sort of few songs we've written, if you like, compared to some people, we've covered a lot of different genres and ground. And I think for somebody who likes variety as opposed to, don't get me wrong, there's some great bands that stick to a formula and that I love. But I also enjoy bands and people that come and kind of reinvent stuff. And I don't think there's really a genre we'd completely say no to, is there?
No, maybe rap.
What, you didn't like my rap?
Here, let me beatbox and Holly, you rap.
Yes.
I've had a go, but
no, there's apart from that sort of stuff, but
I'd
generally speaking,
I'd say we're a mixture of, as you said before, we can be quite dancey and you can get up and move, but we can also have quite a lot of emotion to our songs, and I think we obviously have different voices to a lot of other people as well. We're very unique. We do have a unique sound. So I think that sets us apart.
But, yeah, I mean, we discovered, didn't we, quite early on that the harmony side, it was something that worked for us.
Yeah.
I don't know, I will never, ever claim to have the best voice in the world, but it works well with your voice.
Yeah, it does.
It works perfectly with her voice. I mean, you two complement each other great.
No. Come here, Mike. Give me a hug. Give me a virtual hug.
I think the other thing is we genuinely love doing it.
Yeah, we do.
At the end of the day, yes, it's a career choice, but I would never choose to do this for just money, because there is no money in it.
Right.
Or very little in comparison to other jobs. I mean, the hours you have to put in writing, recording, learning things, rehearsing together, driving, buying equipment.
Well, we are our everything. We're our promoters. You know this. Everyone, all musicians, are our own promoters. We're our own managers. You know, we're everything. And yeah.
Sorry.
No, I was a bit distracted. I wondered what was going on then. Because you sort of when I thought.
Sorry, just trying not to sneeze. But yeah, we do all our own Facebook and Instagram, and I email the venues and ring the venues, and you know, you've got to sometimes send off 100 emails just to get 2 or 3 back.
I remember what that's like. I played in a band. I was the drummer.
Right.
That's kind of my main instrument, but I played in a band called Breaking Even that kind of toured around the Midwest a little bit, and I had to do all that stuff, and it was exhausting.
Oh, it is, yeah. And I think a lot of people don't realize. They think, oh, well, you come along, you get paid, you're only singing for, you know, a couple of hours or something. They forget that your day can start early. You've got to pack the car, get stuff together, meet up, get there, set up, do the gig, pack up, and go again. You know, it's.
I'm really lucky because this is going to sound a bit rude now, but you do deal with a lot of that, and I'm really grateful for that. When we're gigging, like you sort the money out, you talk to the venue and whatever.
Yeah, I just don't want you knowing how much we actually got.
Yeah, I literally, if I gig, well, I will gig my solo stuff, but when I do, I don't know how I'm going to do it without you. You're going to have to be my manager. We're going to have to be our lights manager and our Holly manager.
Nice. Well, cool. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me. This has been fun.
Yes, absolute pleasure.
I'll probably release this like mid to late February sometime.
Cool.
So
I shall send you all the links.
Okay. Yeah, please do. And for people, mention it one more time before we leave. For people that haven't heard you before, where can they go to find your music? Right.
Well, we are on pretty much everything you would think we're on. We're on YouTube under The Lights. We're on Instagram under The Lights Duo. We're on Facebook, The Lights Duo. We're on Bandcamp, The Lights, and Spotify, The Lights Acoustic Duo. So yeah, and I think they're on iTunes and stuff as well. But basically, if you type in The Lights or The Lights Acoustic Duo, it'll come up somewhere. And fingers crossed, there will be more releases in the next. Well, there might even be another one. Fingers before you release this, depending on how much we get done in the next couple of weeks.
Awesome. Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate it, and have yourselves a good one. And we'll talk.